Thank you very much all for being here. And today I'm honored to present to you our talk on how will smart cities look like in the future, and to look at it from a jobs perspective. My name is Mohammed Ghazal. I'm the chair of electrical, computer, and biomedical engineering at Abu Dhabi University. I would like to also point out that this presentation is based on the Future Foresight Foundation report on the future of jobs in the UAE. So it comes after a thorough investigation of all evidences related to different technologies and where these are heading. And this particular report is quite interesting because it produces a vision of what 2040 will look like, especially focusing on how it will affect the job market. So without further ado, let's have a look and imagine together how the future will look like through the jobs that will be in demand in the near future, in reflection to the changes that we will observe in the way we live. So first thing is, there is a high expectations of AI and robotics, artificial intelligence and robotics in the year 2040 to be something that is not really confined within the rich or the technically savvy, no, but rather something that is widespread. We will own robots the same way we own our smartphones now. So in a smart city of the future, everybody has their own robots. They buy different ones every couple of years. They upgrade their robots. All different facets of life have different kind of robots associated with their businesses. For example, restaurants deploy robots, shops deploy robots, government deploy robots, and so on. And we will all have our own personal robots that we use and we update quite frequently. So we will see a lot of what we see in science fiction materialize in front of our eyes. We'll see major transformations, ones that are rivaling the size of what happened when internet was introduced. At some point when internet was introduced, we did not think that our relatives at some point, our mothers, our fathers, will be affected by it in the same way it is right now. Nowadays, it has become something which is akin to infrastructure. It's something that is similar to human rights when we come to say the right to have internet connectivity. There are philanthropists and people who are working about making internet available worldwide, even in rural areas, because of the feeling that it's everybody's right to have access to the internet. Robotics are positioned and AI are positioned as areas to be rivaling what we have observed with the internet when it comes to a revolution. We will also see the impact of this on employment. We'll see entire job markets created for robotics operators, suppliers, programmers, technicians, even people who are working as lawyers and ethics consultants when it comes to robotics. Show organizers, even doctors, we're going to see them as communication, skill development and education robots. We're going to see all of these different expertise required in the near future when it comes to robotics and AI. Another big aspect of how smart cities will look like is related to big data. Big data is bound to change how we deal with a lot of things. How do we process diseases and healthcare? How do we process natural disasters? We will see cities and governments that will use this data and use big data in order to analyze it and draw information out of this data in all things around us, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's population concentrations, how people move, where jobs are, and so on. We'll see a lot of these analyses affect the way we live. And we'll start to see this data influencing decisions that we make, decisions related to policies, decisions related to happiness, decisions related to community projects, and so on. We will see companies and institutions increasingly relying on this data and realizing its importance in order to produce to us services and products that cater for our every need. So we will see jobs associated with this big data movement, such as data scientists, investigators, extractors, analysts, monitors, brokers, and so on. So this is also something that will continue to shape our lives. Cities will start to form decisions relation to big data analytics that they will perform in all input that comes from all facets of life. We will see a lot of drones as well in future smart cities. We'll see ones that are used in law enforcement, in security, in movie and TV production. We'll see them used in governing, on covering sport events, in distributing goods and medicine, in bringing blood and first aids into scenes where there are accidents, in tracking oil and gas and keeping them secure. So, you know, we will see drones used extensively in a lot of different application areas. It will become a normal sighting around us to see drones flying around, doing all sorts of jobs. And this will happen because of two things. The cost of drones are gonna drop, as well as the capability to autonomously fly drones around will also improve because of all of the advancement that we make to technology. So we will see also jobs affected by that. We'll see drone designers, programmers, we'll see sales agents, maintenance. We'll see ground crews that support drone missions. We'll see remote operators of drones, safety engineers. All of these are going to be jobs that will continue to shape the near future of smart cities. Another aspect that will change is hospitals the way we know them. The classical and traditional way of hospitals will cease to exist, and it will replace itself with personalized medicine. So what we mean by personalized medicine is instead of giving everybody the same kind of treatment depending on their symptoms, no, we're going to be tailoring the treatment, tailoring the diagnosis based on the person's information, whether they're, you know, imaging data, whether it's labs, whether it's genome. All of these things will come to influence how we treat every case individually. So the traditional sense of doing this will come to be revolutionized by personalized medicine. We'll also see the development of regenerative medicine, where we can start to produce a kidney in the lab, taken from somebody's cells, where we can start to produce other types of organs and implant them. So we will see, you know, the actual solution to your problem will come from you. And that's what it means to have personalized medicine. The 3D printed organs will become a norm. Even 3D printed limbs will become a norm. We will use genetic modification to try to reduce the effect of diseases, maybe even eliminate them completely. We will cardiovascular diseases, which are, you know, the biggest causes of death, are going to become something, inshallah, of the past. They will cease to exist in the way that they do today, and that will cause lifespan also to increase. Our understanding of also diseases will change because of AI. The way we diagnose them, the holistic view we look at things when we make those diagnoses, will also change depending on the person's experience, the person's past, the person's medical history, their family history, and so on. Healthcare itself is going to become decentralized. So instead of you going to a hospital, the hospital will come to you. So you'll get a visit from a robotic doctor, and the robotic doctor or the robot will actually have the medical scanners with it, will have the machinery related to the labs, will take whatever scans are required from you, whatever samples are required, and then will produce a diagnosis, will produce a treatment plan, will talk to you about diseases and so on. We will see also surgeries maybe even remotely done in-house. So instead of coming to a hospital, maybe we can start to see more simple surgeries performed remotely in houses than it is in actual hospitals. So again, the job market will change to that. So we will see a lot of jobs emerge because of this. People that are specialized in anti-aging, in gene modification, even in regulating gene modification and governing gene modification. Designers and engineers that use genetic engineering. We'll see people who actually help the elderly. We'll see nursing, see a boom. All of these jobs will be affected by personalized medicine. Another field that is quite promising and will come to improve the way we do our work is AI augmentation. We will start to look at how we can augment human beings with AI chips. We've even started to see some element of that in Neuralink, which has recently been implanted into monkeys, and even the entire world watched this video where the monkey was playing bong. We will see more of that. We will see AI not being used as a standalone solution, but no, something that augments the way you do your job, improves its efficiency, improves its performance, and we will see also an increased demand for people who are talented in utilizing AI. So how you use AI in order to do the job better, it will become sort of a skill that we would like to impart on our kids, that we would like to hone, that we would like to start to design training programs so that people can increasingly use these technologies in order to shape the way we do business. So we will see a lot of jobs affected by it. We'll see, you know, the same way we had authors, we'll see authors who are AI augmented, musicians who are AI augmented, artists who are AI augmented, accountants who are AI augmented, cybersecurity experts, and so on. We'll have this kind of symbiotic relationship where we do our work by leaning on and asking for AI to do what it does best, which is to process information, to detect patterns, to detect trends, and improve the way that we do our job. Self-driving cars is going to be a big thing in the future of smart cities. We'll see autonomous vehicles patrol the streets. Even just recently in the UAE, we started to see that this technology will become something that we will see very soon in our own streets, maybe the second country in the world outside of the US to do this. We'll see cars completely redesigned around an experience that does not feature a human driver, but rather feature how you can really be having fun while you are going from one place to another. Cars will talk to each other in order to avoid accidents and in order to improve the efficiency of road utilizations. Cars will talk to the owner, will talk to the elements in the streets and traffic lights and so on. This conversation will be all designed towards improving our mobility. So again, we'll see jobs affected by that. We'll see people who are smart road engineers. We will see those who are repairing and maintaining self-driving cars. We'll see designers who their entire focus is on how to transform the inside of a car into something which is designed around your happiness and your utility, as opposed to something that is designed against efficiently controlling a car. The blockchain technology will also shape a lot of what we do in the future. And in blockchain, simply we have a secured ledger of information that is distributed and at the same time accessible to all people. And because of this kind of secure permanent record that is decentralized like that will affect how we do government. When we issue something, for example, you get your Emirates ID, you get your passport, it will be digital and it will be secured and protected in this blockchain technology. When you get your, we even see this in some schools now, when they issue you your certificate, they issue the certificate into the ledger using blockchain so that it's with you all the time and it is secure and it is trusted and so on. So as we see this increases trust in this decentralized operations, we'll see it also affect your medical records in healthcare. We'll see it affect your insurance. We'll see it affect a lot of services that will now become ones that can be built on top of this solid and trusted infrastructure that provides information in a way that cannot be hacked or faked or in any way altered without everybody knowing. So that increased trust will allow people to do more commerce, will allow people to do more business, will allow people to do and create more services. The world will become hyper connected in a secure way, and because of that, we'll see one service affects everything else. In the same way that we actually have an element of that in the UAE revolving around the Emirates idea and how it has become something that is used in almost all services. We're going to get something like this, but it will be across the world and it will be across all sorts of services. So all of our data will become connected. And because of that, we're going to see this also affect the job markets. We'll see blockchain engineers, designers, legislatures, government officials, product managers. All of these jobs will come to be quite important in the future. 3D printing will continue to make its headway in everything we have in our life. We're lucky to have observed all of these things happen in the UAE even years before they become dominant and become something that is mainstream. So we have seen 3D printed homes in the UAE. We see 3D printers used nowadays in everything, and that will also increase, even in designing tissue, designing organs, and so on. This will become quite accessible. Even manufacturing something which is high complexity would be something that you can do easily. Imagine, for instance, that you're missing a piece that you need to fix your fridge or your washing machines, and you instantly 3D print it and use it in order to fix what you need. So this kind of manufacturing of high complexity parts will become something that is easily done. We will see this also affects the jobs. We'll see 3D product designers, we'll see home developers, we'll see 3D printer technicians and maintenance and designer engineers. We'll see programmers and coders who will try to empower all sorts of applications around 3D printing. And it will continue to be a technology that is shaping our future of smart cities. Digital currency also will become something. Actually, we see this. There are even success stories in certain countries where people are moving away from paper currency into more digital form of currency. So we'll see cryptocurrencies also see an increase. We are already observing that, but maybe we'll reach a point in time where the trading of paper currency will become less needed in favor of digital currencies. We'll see also jobs that will emerge because of this, like cryptocurrency exchange brokers, like those who work as employees in cryptocurrency mining. We'll see those who work in cryptocurrency exchanges, analysts of cryptocurrency performances, and all of these jobs. We'll also see smart cities shaped with smart sensors. These smart sensors are going to be around us almost everywhere. So they will impact every aspect of our life. They will sense the environment around us to try to make it more designed towards our comfort. They will sense our signals, or our physiological signals, in order to try to tune our body and to advise us in the right way on how we can live with diseases or how we can avoid those diseases. Altogether, we will see sensors influence how we drive the car out of the door every day. How do we join the street? We'll see sensors will be more or less everywhere. In our work, in our schools, in our hospitals, and they will continue to gather this data and use it in order to give us better services and improve our life. So in a way, the city will become alive, will become conscious, will start to think about processing all of these sensing data in order to give its residents the best kind of life possible within these cities. We'll see also jobs affected by that. So we'll see smart sensors engineers, smart sensors workers who install those systems, those who work on regulating those systems in the government, signal engineers for the smart systems. And this also includes smart homes. And I think that in smart homes, we started to see some of these services now become available from our telecom providers, and we'll continue to see more of these services available. That we'll start to have our homes response to our needs in a different way, customize the room lighting, customize the heating level, customize the cooling level, customize the music, customize all of these things in order to provide personalized comfort to each each person who lives in that household. We'll start to see also a lot of space exploration when it comes to smart cities. The development there will be quite significant. So we have seen some of it these days. We're lucky to have observed the magnificent contributions that the UAE has started to make in this area, and we'll see more of this. We'll see human beings reach Mars. We'll see us also look at commercial space flights. So the smart cities will allow citizens to go on to the space, even recreationally. We will start to see also all of the byproducts of the space technology affect our lives in many different ways. And that is one of those great benefits of space exploration, is that the problem being so tough and challenging forces us to think outside the box and to innovate solutions to these problems. And when we innovate those solutions, they come to affect how we actually use these solutions in real life at home in more favorable conditions. So of course, space flight will be, we're seeing this actually. We see, we are all listening to news and know, for example, about different companies that have met success in creating space flights, in reusing the rockets, and in reusing elements of the space flights. And we'll see more of that. We'll see more commercial companies enter into this domain and start to provide their own solutions to space travel. And it will become something that is accessible and widely available for to some degree. Maybe in 20 years is not the right time frame for that, but in 20 years we'll see you will meet somebody in your life, or a couple of people who've been to space. Again, the jobs will be affected by this. So we have space mission planners. We have those who teams work on preparing the launch of these space crafts. And we will see also experts in all sorts of domain related to space, including even traffic, including waste. Just recently, I was reading an article about how much all of these satellites and all of these things are creating this space waste, and if it's time for us to start to think about solutions to these problems and so on. We will also, the energy sector will likely change in the future. We will see more nuclear fusion power plants that will provide us with a clean and widely available energy. Nuclear fusion is unlike other, for example, solar or wind, is non-seasonal. So it is something that we can rely on to provide us with a certain level of service that continues to be there, and we can scale it up or scale it down depending on our needs. We will start to see this technology also as more energy becomes available. We will start to see more utilization of this energy in all aspects of life. So with that particular interest and demand for future energy in the form of nuclear fusion, we'll see also a number of jobs emerge because of this in a city. So a smart city will have probably a couple of nuclear fusion power plants. And for that, they will also need fusion power generation reactor designers, engineers, technicians, experts, even those who maintain those systems and to ensure their safety and the regulations. All of these are jobs that will be available in the near future and will shape future smart cities. Genome is going to become something that is more accessible than it is today. So maybe we all will have the ability to get our own genome sequences and understand better what diseases we are susceptible to and how we can prevent those diseases from escalating in the future. We will see us control infection diseases using genomic data and know how to treat them in a better way. We will see diagnosis affected by our genome. So we'll see also modifications that are made in order to address issues that and diseases that we are prevailing and are troubling. And at the same time, we the treatment options are more around the symptoms and not the disease themselves. No, so here we're talking about cures for some things like diabetes, for cancers, and so on. So that will become possible due to advancement in genomics. So we're expecting that we'll have better understanding of our genome, our DNA in the future. And of course, that will create, again, jobs around these technologies, algorithm health service providers, researchers in algorithmic health services, nutrition experts using algorithms. So what you eat will depend now on your DNA, or at least you'll get suggestions on what to eat in order to match your DNA and so on. We'll see gene auditors, we'll see experts in biological manufacturing, we'll see designers in the field of bioprocessing and bioengineering. So we can start to, and we are seeing some of this. The mRNA vaccines that we are now observing with the high efficacy are ones that, in a way, starting to showcase the ability of something like this. And those who develop these technologies are now looking at how we can program the body in order to produce proteins that will tackle other things than COVID-19, for example, that will tackle cancers, that I can, program the body to produce antibodies that will start to target certain diseases and cancer. It's something that is really, we're seeing a boost happen because of COVID-19, and the benefit of that will continue to exist also in the future, and will be more accessible and more prevailing than they are now. Hyperloop will connect cities in ways that we have not seen before. So there are also Hyperloop projects that are happening in the UAE. So that will change where people work and where they live. We'll start to see people who live in one city and work in another city, because it takes 10-15 minutes to commute to work, probably less time than what it takes, for example, to go downtown in the same city in a busy day. So Hyperloop will affect transportation in a great way. Will reinvent the entire the intercity transportation, and again, the jobs will be affected by this. So we will get tube metro network designers, we'll get tube network command center operators, we'll get regulators, we'll get maintenance staff, and so on. So with every technology, as you can see, there are those who regulate access to it. There are those who create laws and policies associated with the fair and balanced use of these technologies to the betterment of mankind. We see designers who will customize it and utilize it in different applications. We'll see testers, we'll see people who maintain applications. And we can see this as a pattern for every technology that I discussed, which shapes smart cities. We will see jobs that will be in place in order to support this technology in every aspect, from design to manufacturing, to regulation, to testing, to maintenance, to adoption, to even making it accessible to people. Quantum computers are going to open the doors. Even doors we do not know yet are closed. Quantum computers are different from regular computers that are based on just 0 and 1. Quantum computers can be in a superposition. So they can be both 1 and 0 at the same time. And with that comes a huge boost to our ability to process things in parallel. Things which required years to process will now be things that we can process in fractions of seconds, because of the way that we design these computers. And with this very powerful, very fast, and also very small computers, we'll be able to do many things. So we'll be able to detect the risk of cancers early. We'll be able to support all of these self-driving cars, not even just one car on its own, but rather all of the cars in the city, reducing travel time, producing higher efficiency drugs as we process trillions and trillions of records of data in order to try to produce these drugs. Even explore, all of the computations related to exploring different planets and have safer airplanes. All of these very tough simulation problems and very tough real life problems that require computing power that is prohibitive today will become something that we will make major advances to, thanks to quantum computing providing the computing power necessary for something like this. And again, that will bring with it jobs, quantum computer programmers, data analysts, device operators, all sorts of jobs that will now revolve around quantum computers as they continue to support our progress towards smarter and smarter cities. We'll see more of VR, AR, and MR, virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed realities in smart cities. So we will see them in all sorts of life. We'll see them used extensively in education, in healthcare, in the industry, in entertainment, VR and AR headsets will become something that we see as often as smartphones around. So, and that will create lots of industries. So there will be travel agents who rely on mixed reality in their work, therapists, trainers, supervisors, game developers, film producers will start to use these immersive content in order to expand our horizons and the way we think and the way we design, visualize. We're actually very visual beings. We like to see. We process information that we see much better than the information that we read about and so on. So as VR and AR and MR starts to make these visualizations something that is widely available and something that is widely accessible to us, that is bound to also improve many of the aspects of how we do our jobs. We'll also see lab-grown meats. I mean, this is something that I think now you can even buy. Beyond Meat, which more or less provides alternative to meats that are grown in the lab, thus reducing the environmental damage that is caused by the animal industry. So one day this will become something that is quite available and will create around it all sorts of jobs related to designers, to in vitro grown meat stem cells managers, quality control consultants, researchers and specialists, nutrition engineers, operation managers that are related to lab-grown meat. So this will be continue to become an industry that will have a positive impact on our environment, and at the same time may reduce with it a lot of the problems that are associated with meat production that we are now suffering from. And Internet of Things, everything will become connected. All of the devices around it will become connected to one digital presence available at your fingertips to control everything. Whether it is your TV, your washing machine, your microwave, your car, your desk at your office, your doctors, all of these things will have connectivity and will have Wi-Fi and will connect to servers. And as the servers pull all of these informations, it will allow it to talk to each other, thus creating an internet of things around you. And all of these things will work in order to improve your productivity and improve your living and improve spaces like smart buildings, improve healthcare, improve alarm systems, and so on. So all devices that do not have connectivity will now start to feature connectivity as part of the job. And we are seeing this, where you can now go and buy switches that you can control from your phone, just from any shop. You can order them and they would arrive. We see light bulbs that are connected to your Google Home or connected to your any one of the range of services that are available now. We'll see more and more of these devices get connected, and they will generate data. They will not only just be things that we can control, there'll also be things that we can sense. And as we sense those things, they provide us with data that we can analyze. That's how the cities will become conscious from all of the data that these smart things are providing, and all of the data that the quantum computing and AI is helping to process and then produce insights and things we can do to improve everybody's life. So the city will start to feel its people and will start to mold itself in order to make sure that those that are there are productive, happy, and innovative. And that's how cities are going to look like. And as you can see, it takes a number of these technologies together to either reduce and this I don't want I know I discuss all of these technologies, but in a way they are connected. Hyperloops and drones are there to improve our mobility. If we discuss, AI and robotics and quantum computing are there to improve our computing and processing power and problem solving. Internet of Things and sensors are there to provide the data. Big data analytics are there to process the data and produce information. Cryptocurrency and blockchain are there to add trust into the information that is available and to remove from it the security concerns and issues. So all of these technologies are there. Genomic information might feed the 3D printing, might feed into personalized medicine. So all of these technologies are interrelated, they are intertwined, and they will continue to together work towards producing cities that are very smart, very conscious to their citizens and to their residents, and at the same time help them explore dimensions that were not before accessible. So this is it for my talk. I hope that you found it interesting, and I would be happy to take any questions if you have. Any questions? All right, so I am starting to see. You're most welcome. Thank you very much. I think there is also a Q&A feature here, but you're welcome also to leave your question in the chat if you have any. Yeah, I have an excellent questions from Mr. Abdullah, and I read the question out loud, which is, could there be any possibility of an upcoming unemployment wave due to the robots taking place of jobs in the market? That's an excellent question, and I know it's in everybody's mind, including, by the way, all countries in the world and leadership and so on. The idea is something that haunts the development of different technologies when it comes to robotics and automations and so on. Everybody who hears about those things and can see, their job being something that could be automated starts to have these fears, understandable fears of what does that mean to people. And one thing that we need to keep in mind is that without anybody to consume those services, then they will not exist. Companies that will make them need people to buy them in order to continue to be in business. So it's not in anybody's interests, first and foremost, into those who will provide the robotics and AI, if there is nobody to buy them. If these are just accessible to the rich, they're always accessible to the rich, but they need to be globally accessible in order for this to work. So the way this looks like is that it's quite similar to what happened with the Industrial Revolution, when suddenly we did not need all of these factory workers who used to work by the troves in order to produce products, and rather we had these machines that now empowered industry and increased production and increased and so on. So there were similar fears there, that these machines now are there to remove the need. I mean, at some points, factories, they needed all of the women because the men were at war. So all of the women had to go and operate all of those factories to continue to produce weapons, continue to produce whatever was needed at the time, and so on. So there was a lot of movement and jobs that were created because of something like this. And then there were lots of fears when machines came in that this will now displace the workforce into unemployment. But that did not happen. And that's why we're confident that this will not happen again here. It will displace the workforce, true, but it did not displace it towards unemployment. It displaced it towards other skill sets that are not, let's say, tuned to the same level of automations, abstract thinking tasks, taking care of the elderly, taking care of the children, doing a higher cognitive jobs and so on. So there will definitely be a displacement. This is this is something that everybody is expecting. People will start to work on different things other than the repetitive things that they have been working on for a very long time. But the thing is, the problem is for that displacement to happen, there needs to be some room for people to kind of like update themselves, to start to acquire new skills and acquire new knowledge that would allow them to fit now in a different job role than the one they have been accustomed to do all the time. And where will this time come from? Where will the time for people to go back to learn useful skills and useful knowledge in order to, they need to live, they need to work. That is how they support themselves. So governments are now experimenting with the concept of universal basic income, where they will provide people with a certain level of support from the government, from the taxes collected from those who are making a lot of money from AI and robotics. So this now will be taken in order to provide people with this basic income that will guarantee they can live and function within the economy. That is not enough for them to lead a very lavish lifestyle, but it's enough for them to live, and it's given to everybody regardless of who they are and what they work or what their age. So everybody gets that amount. And now with that amount, with that security that you provided, everybody is now welcome to go and acquire as much additional resources as they need. So they can go and get another job, they can go and train and then apply for these jobs that are in demand. Yani you get that basic income and everything you make is on top of that. And that will allow the economy to keep going, so that those who are now having this income can now continue to buy these services, and that will keep the money cycle or the circle in place, and will continue to grow the economy. So what I want to say, Mr. Abdullah, is that that fear is valid, that fear is always there. And there are things that we are thinking about in order to alleviate those fears and to try to deal with this shift in the same way we dealt with it before, by just shifting jobs elsewhere into places that are needed. And remember that, and one major point of the presentation that I had today was focused on how all of these technologies will bring about job creation. So each and every one of them comes and opens a new market, and even some markets that we did not know existed will or cannot envision right now will come to exist. And with those markets, there will be lots of jobs and lots of demands and so on. So think about some of the jobs that are now no one envisioned, and they are now there. They are now something somebody can be making money off of YouTube. If you said this to somebody 10 years back, they will think that this is impossible. No way that somebody can have a full-time job working on providing or creating YouTube content. So these emerging markets will come to also require jobs, and people will start to move around to these jobs and adapt to them to acquire the skills that are needed in order to excel in those jobs. So it's a change, but it's not something that will just change, suddenly overnight will increase employment into unprecedented levels and leave everybody at home while there are just a group of people who are enjoying these robots and AI services and no one else. I hope I answered your question, Mr. Abdullah. I have another question from Mr. Yasser, which is related to blockchain, and will it have a positive impact or not? I think it does have a positive impact. I don't think that any amount of additional trust that we can give to information will lead into them being less useful. In fact, they'll be more useful. Think about how many certificates, for example, were issued that turned out to be fake. Think about how many documents that were submitted and are not authentic. Think about, or they were doctored or something like that. Think about, and now imagine that this cannot happen. So now that will create more trust for you. That will create, now if somebody comes in and have a certificate that is a digital certificate that comes from blockchain, you will trust it because you know that there is no way for them to have done anything in order to fake this. So you might be more inclined to hiring them. The same thing that happens with the medical data. There is no fake data there to work with. There is, this is something that this is a trusted ledger that everybody has access to, and that we can verify the information instantly, and so on. Even now, banks and contracts and these things, which are, if you don't think about the UAE and how good is the system here, think about systems that are still paper-based, where there is a lot of errors, there are a lot of misplaced documents, there are a lot of fake documents and so on. And imagine now a system that eliminates all of this. So that will allow us to create many things, many services that would otherwise be not possible because of lack of trust will now be carried over blockchain, and which will provide that trust, and thus allow people to use these services more than they did in the past. So I see it having an excellent and very positive impact. We still have time for additional questions. If you need, I'll be glad to answer. Oh, I have one in the Q&A. About the certificates, I think that I'm not sure what.
Sorry, doctor, that the certificate will be sent to the email you have registered with Ms. Dua.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you, Omar.
Thank you, doctor. Any more question you would like to ask the doctor? Don't see any raised hand.
Excellent. That means it was clear. So thank you very much, everybody, and stay safe and Ramadan Kareem. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad.